No question, Shirley Sherrod. I mean, that's just an easy one. And the argument that most people make was, well, he wasn't involved on that level of decision making. It wasn't really him. And I think even if you buy that argument, the fact of the matter is what the president himself always says, and that is that the buck stops with him. Um, I think it's fair to say that around the administration there was a climate, there is probably a climate of fear. And, perhaps justified, certainly legitimate fear. And not just fear around race, but fear around a narrative of black vengeance. If you go back to '08 and you look at a lot of the reporting in a place like West Virginia, you find people saying things, well, I can't vote for a black man because he's gonna put too many black people in power. It's always this fear of black revenge in a country that one day somehow this absolute minority in the country, I think we're now maybe 14, 15% of the country, but somehow we will one day get our hands on the levels of power, and at that point we will exact our vengeance upon the rest of the country. And that you would be shocked as to how powerful that narrative is, how much it recurs, how much it shows up. Glenn Beck calling healthcare reform reparations. They're finally gonna, get it back through healthcare reform. In Obama's America, black kids beat up white kids in the back of the bus. I think there's great fear of that. So it wasn't so much just that Shirley Sherrod was shown saying something far to the left, saying something racial. The way that clip was made, she was shown presumably endorsing black revenge fantasy, this sort of, fever dream that exists in the minds of racists everywhere. And, that was how she was shown on film. And I think that immediately just scared the hell out of them. And I think that, helps explain why, she would find herself pulling off to the side of the road and having to submit her resignation via BlackBerry. I think what people have to understand about Shirley Sherrod is Barack Obama never spent any time in the Deep South. His understanding of race is mostly shaped from whatever he experienced in Hawaii, perhaps what he experienced internationally, and in northern cities. The dynamic down south is totally different. The man who killed Shirley Sherrod, the white man who killed Shirley Sherrod's father, is a relative of hers. It's totally different. I mean, she's actually in it and, basically was born into it, has been in it for as long as she can remember. For someone, who lost her father to racism, lost a cousin to racism, saw him strung up in front of the courthouse in town, whose mother had to stand out with a gun and face actual white supremacists who were actually firing up a cross on her lawn, 6-7 months pregnant, recently widowed. I mean, this is somebody who actually was in it, who really, this is not theoretical. For her, who made Barack Obama possible, who fought for a world where it was legal for a black man and a white woman to actually have sex. People forget this was illegal at one point. Not just to be president, but for Barack Obama physically to actually exist as a person, and for her to be treated the way she was. He's responsible for that. That's his responsibility. He is responsible for that. And if he can invite Officer Crowley to the White House for a beer, he can have Shirley Sherrod there for coffee. So by far, that was the most disappointing, and remains the most disappointing as far as I'm concerned.